Hey, it's Brandon, Right Stuff Media. And yesterday we covered buying a business part one. So we talked about how to find a business going online and then trying to find a business that looks interesting. And I think one of the things when you're looking at buying a business is that you can't get too excited. I mean, this is like going out shopping for a car and you have an idea of what it is that you're looking for, but you're not exactly sure. And I think that's one of the things when you're looking for a business. This is a long transaction. And as you start going through it, it's emotional, you get excited, then you get defeated. I mean, there's a lot going on when you're looking at buying a business. And so yesterday we talked about where to find a business that you like. Now today, what I want to talk about is once you find that business, we've submitted to the broker or to the company hey, we're interested in taking a look at you. I call this the exploration stage. We've signed a non-disclosure agreement, so we can't say anything to anybody about who the company is or any information that we receive. And on that first packet that we get the history of the company. We get the profit and loss for typically the last 3 years and a balance sheet. And now it's time to go actually look at the business. Sometimes the owner wants to stay with the business. Sometimes the owner doesn't want to stay with the business and they want to exit. Sometimes the owner wants to stay with the business and it just doesn't work out. So there's no set system to purchasing a business and understanding of the future and saying this is how it's going to work out because we just don't know. So I want to talk about this as the exploration stage, right? So now's the time that we meet with the owner of the business, which is the seller, and we want to find out as much as possible. And so I think you get your answers or you get your questions from what you've seen from the packet that you've received. And you want to write down some questions. What are some things that are not in there that you want to have answers to? What are some things that raise the red flag for you? Do your online research about the company and write all these questions down. And then when you go and meet with the seller, this is a time for you to ask questions. It's not a time for you to sell yourself or talk about what it is that you want to do. It is the time to interview, just as if you would as if you're hiring somebody. What you want to do is you want to interview the seller. You want to ask lots and lots and lots of questions. And I think when you ask the questions, one of the things that I was looking for, especially in this business that I'm looking at buying right now, is the owner upfront and honest? Because when you have a buyer-seller negotiation, I want to be honest about everything it is that I want from the business and from the deal. You want the seller to be open and honest so that you know that if you ask any question, you're going to get an honest answer so you can have a true look at the business, whether it's financials, whether it's operations. I want to know the struggles of the business. I want to know why the owner wants to sell. Because if I can find out all those indicators, it helps me wrap my mind around the business that I'm looking at buying. And so the transaction that I'm in right now, that's what I was looking for. I wanted to see what kind of character is this, because I want to keep the seller on. I want him to be a part of the organization. And is he someone that I can work with? Is he someone, or am I someone that he's going to be able to work with? And so in this kind of deal, which is different than the business that I sold, where they wanted me to exit, I want to make sure that I'm going to be a good fit. Because that's going to allow me to look at the next stage of this transaction, which is the negotiation, right? What is the seller willing to give out? What is the buyer willing to provide? And this is quite the process. If you've ever been through it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, it's an emotional roller coaster because there's a lot going on. Not to mention, the seller is giving up their baby. The buyer is putting a lot on the line to make an investment into an unknown business that hopefully they're going to get a return on. And so when you sit down with your meeting, write down all the questions, be prepared before the meeting, and just think about everything that you could ever think about. Think about the things that you want to ask and don't hold back. If there's a question that you want to ask it. Because this is the time to get the answers that you want to really make sure, are we going to go the next step and are we going to make an offer on this business? So I looked at character. I look at the owner. Is he a man that I want to fall in place and take over and carry on the reputation that he's had? Or is he someone shady that you don't trust? Well, if you don't trust him, why would you want to buy a business that you don't even know what you're buying? And you can hear all the different stories about transactions that have not gone well. They weren't what they thought they were. And then also make sure you look at the financials. Come up with the questions in the financials that you need to ask. And one of the things that I looked at is his financials are set up differently, so I couldn't get an accurate view of exactly, I knew the top line and I knew the bottom line. I knew the revenue, I knew the net profit, but I also have other numbers in the profit and loss that I'm looking at. And then make sure the balance sheet matches the profit and loss, because if they don't, you want to ask those questions on this meeting, or if they can't answer them, at least they can start getting answers for you. So this exploration stage is a huge part of, am I going to stick with this deal or am I going to walk away? And for me, I'm moving forward. We're supposed to close January 2nd. He's a man that I trust him. I look at him, I think he's a great individual of high moral character, and he cares about his people. And that's what I'm buying, is a business that has a culture, that has people, and a reputation. And we want the business to make money. That's got to be a must if we're going to invest in it. But you're also buying the people, and I think that's important. So hopefully that helps you. If you thought about buying a business, remember, go out in line. Start looking at businesses that are for sale. Because I've been looking for a year, and now just getting to the point where I actually found one that I like. This is a long process. It's like dating, right? It takes a while before you ask for the hand in marriage. If you haven't been to my website, Right Stuff Media, I have a free download of my first book that I wrote called Redesign. There's a lot of strategies in there. I get a lot of feedback all the time about, hey Brandon, I read your book and then this helped me in my business. I appreciate that feedback. And then if you have questions, leave them down in the comments, message me. I'm getting 2-3 messages a day if people have questions in their business. I'm here to help. I've been through a lot. If I don't know it, maybe we can go through it together. We can come up with some problems for your struggles, or maybe you have some opportunities. I'll give you my perspective, and that's what I'm here for. Hey, thanks for joining me. Have a good day.